Hello and welcome to the news at 6. Thank you for joining us this Saturday evening. Let's start with the headlines. The Prime Minister calls on the Muslim community to not allow triple talaq issue to be politicized, urges the need for a proper solution to the controversial practice. Chief Election Commissioner reiterates that EVMs are tamper-proof, says VVPATs will be used in all coming elections to bring more transparency to election process. North Korea continues to defy international sanctions and conducts another missile test. The world condemns the test, while US says it disrespects China. And India's challenge at the Badminton Asia Championships ends. PV Sindhu crashes out in the quarterfinals. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday called on the Muslim community to not allow the issue of triple talaq to be politicized. He also urged the reformers of the community to find a proper solution to end the controversial practice. Modi was addressing a gathering at New Delhi on the occasion of Basav Jayanti, a social reformer.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday appealed to the Muslim community to have an open mind about the triple talaq issue. Speaking on the occasion of Basav Jayanti in New Delhi, Modi expressed hope that progressive Muslims would come forward to protect women from ill effects of triple talaq.
मुसलमान समाज में से भी ऐसे प्रबुद्ध लोग पैदा होंगे, आगे आएंगे और मुस्लिम बेटियों को उनके साथ जो गुजर रही है, जो बीत रही है, उसके खिलाफ वो खुद लड़ाई लड़ेंगे और कभी न कभी रास्ता निकालेंगे। और हिंदुस्तान के ही प्रबुद्ध मुसलमान को निकलेंगे जो दुनिया के मुसलमानों को रास्ता दिखाने की ताकत रखते हैं।
Modi also urged the Muslim community to refrain from politicizing the issue. He went on to say that there should be no discrimination in the country, adding that Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is the motto of his government.
ये भारत की मिट्टी की ताकत है कि 3 तलाक के संकट से गुजर रही हमारी माताओं बहनों को भी बचाने के लिए उसी समाज से लोग आएंगे। और मैं मुसलमान समाज के लोगों से भी आग्रह करूंगा कि इस मसले को राजनीति के दायरे में मत जाने दीजिए। आप आगे आइए, समस्या का समाधान कीजिए और वो समाधान का आनंद कुछ और होगा, आने वाली पीढ़ियों तक उससे ताकत मिलेगी।
जो औरतें मुस्लिम धर्म, मुस्लिम रीति रिवाज के मुताबिक निकाह करती हैं, उनको पहले से पता होता है कि तलाक कैसे होती है। तो ये कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि अचानक कोई बात हो जाती है। तो मज़हब की चूँकि मामला है, मज़हब की बात है, लिहाजा हमने तो पहले भी कहा कि मजहबी लोगों को इसको हल करना चाहिए।
The Prime Minister's statement has evoked mixed reactions from the political spectrum.
Women rights should be given to every woman of this country belonging to any community, but nothing can be imposed on the community. It would be best that the community is taken into confidence and the community stands up for women's right.
खेद की बात यह है, जब भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेता इसके बारे में बोलते हैं, वो मुस्लिम महिलाओं की तरफ उनके अधिकारों के लिए नहीं सोच रहे हैं। वो केवल एक राजनीतिक तुच्छ समझ को लेकर किसी कम्युनिटी को किस रूप में हम और इसको अलग थलग करें, वो रवैया है उनका।
जो लोग खुद शीशे के मकान बैठे हैं, उन्हें दूसरों के मकान में पत्थर नहीं फेंकना चाहिए। हिंदू धर्म में बहुत खराबी है और सबसे बड़ी खराबी तो कास्ट सिस्टम है, तो इसको भी इरेडिकेट करें, तब मुसलमानों से कहें कि तुम सुधार करो।
This is the second time that PM Modi has spoken about triple talaq, days after he did so in the National Executive Meet in Bhubaneswar. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, in the midst of a controversy over the tampering of EVMs, the Election Commission will soon call a meeting of all political parties. The Commission will assure the parties that EVMs are tamper-proof and secure. Chief Election Commissioner Naseem Zaidi said this in Chandigarh on Saturday. Zaidi also said that the Commission intends to use voter-verified paper audit trail or VVPAT in all coming elections. This will help bring in more transparency and boost the confidence of people in the electoral process. The Commission is also planning to throw an open challenge, asking anyone to try and hack its EVMs to dispel doubts of any misuse.
मेरे ख्याल में भारत पहला देश होगा जहाँ पे 100% वीवीपैट्स यानी कि पेपर ऑडिट ट्रेल का इस्तेमाल हर पोलिंग स्टेशन पर किया जाएगा और ऐसा करना मेरे ख्याल में वोटर्स के कॉन्फिडेंस को और भी बढ़ावा देगा और भी पारदर्शिता लाएगा पूरी इलेक्शन प्रोसेस में और पेपर ऑडिट ट्रायल के लिए पूरा फंड्स प्राप्त हो गए हैं.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has called for implementation of stricter laws by the Enforcement Directorate in case of money laundering and tax evasions. Speaking at the Enforcement Directorate Day in New Delhi, Jaitley said that the enforcement agency must use its penalizing powers expeditiously to deal with any non-compliance of the laid down rules and help the exchequer raise legitimate revenue. He also said that a strict approach of the ED is important as the interest of the larger public takes a hit when people indulge in non-compliance of tax laws. The Finance Minister called money laundering, round-tripping, tax evasion and creation of shell companies serious offences as the money meant for education, healthcare, rural development gets taken away. Meanwhile, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Arvind Panagaria has said that the government has no intention of putting tax on the agricultural income of farmers. He also said that taxing farmers is not on the government's agenda as large population in rural parts is dependent on agriculture for subsistence. In fact, speaking in Hyderabad, Panagaria said that the centre is committed to double farm income by 2022 and is bringing in reforms on technology and pricing towards that direction.
जब प्रधानमंत्री ये बात कर रहे हैं कि मुझे फार्मर्स की इनकम 2022 तक डबल करनी है, ऐसी स्थिति में फार्मर्स की इनकम को टैक्स करने का कोई प्रश्न ही नहीं होता और हमारे तो जो 80% गरीब हैं वो गांव में हैं जो खेती पर ही निर्भर करते हैं तो उन पर टैक्स लगाने का कोई प्रश्न कैसे होता है.
Now, in a major reshuffle in the lower judiciary in Uttar Pradesh, the Allahabad High Court on Saturday transferred close to 400 judicial officers. The transferred judicial officers included nearly half of the additional district and sessions judge rank. According to the court's notification, 199 additional district judges posted in regular courts and another 8 in the same rank posted at fast-track courts were transferred. The court has directed all judicial officers to keep themselves ready to hand over charge at their present place of posting on the 8th of May. Mumbai police has said that it has no information on Underworld Don and India's most wanted criminal Dawood Ibrahim's death. This after unconfirmed media reports on Friday claimed that the mastermind behind the 1993 Mumbai blast has died following a heart attack in Karachi. However, further media reports also claim that Dawood's longtime aide Chota Shakil has denied the reports, saying that the Underworld Don is fine. Ibrahim is accused of plotting the 1993 Bombay serial blasts in which 257 people were killed. He's also accused of masterminding many other terror attacks in India and faces multiple charges of money laundering and extortion in several countries. With that, a look at what else is making news across the country in Nationwide. At least 3 children were injured on Saturday after a low-intensity bomb exploded in a Patna school. According to reports, the incident took place on the rooftop of the school in Patna's Khaje Kala. Injured students were rushed for treatment. An investigation has been launched. The CRPF on Saturday arrested 4 Naxals in Chhattisgarh's Bijapur district during a search operation. This comes days after the deadly Sukma attack, where 25 CRPF personnel were killed in an encounter with Naxals. The attack took place on personnel of the CRPF's 74th Battalion when they were assisting the local administration in road building. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has admitted that the Aam Aadmi Party has made mistakes and there was a need to introspect. He said that there must be a course correction after the party's crushing defeat in the recent civic polls in the national capital. He said this after his interaction with volunteers and voters. BJP President Amit Shah is in Jammu as part of his 95-day All India tour from today. During the tour, he will strategize on ways to win the 2019 Lok Sabha elections for the party, with a focus on clinching 120 seats where the party had lost in 2014. He will spend 1 to 3 days in each state. All right, without a quick break here, up next we're getting you more national news and also the international updates. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to Rajya TV. I'm Amritan Shirai and you're watching Constitutionally Yours.
Large number of people from this backward caste have received education.
There is a provision in the Constitution for providing a reservation to the caste.
Methodology of reservation on caste basis is a fundamental thing.
Reservation on the basis of caste has reinforced caste consciousness among citizens.
A performance audit, including of the reservation process.
Watch Constitutionally Yours on Rajya Sabha television. Homai Vyarawala, better known by her pseudonym Dalda 13, was India's first woman photojournalist. Vyarawala entered the field of photojournalism in the late 1930s. For nearly 30 years, till she retired in the early 1970s, at the peak of her career, she made a massive impact. Vyarawala clicked some iconic pictures of political and national leaders. Gandhiji, Nehru, Jinnah, Indira Gandhi have been subjects of her vast photographic collection. Prime Minister Nehru, she says, was her favourite. In 2011, Homai Vyarawala was conferred the Padma Vibhushan, the country's second highest civilian award.
We are indeed in a, I would say, a golden age of astronomy if we look at capabilities that are coming up in the future. One of the key projects that the Institute of Astrophysics is involved in is the 30-meter telescope project, which is a global project to look at, to build the largest telescope on ground. This is a consortium of many countries. India is partner in that. India has roles where we bring in nearly 70% of the contribution in kind.
Watch Eureka with Dr. P. Srikumar, Director, Indian Institute of Astrophysics, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari concluded his 5-day visit to Armenia and Poland on Friday. During the visit, he held talks with the top leadership of the two countries on a wide range of issues. He also emphasized on the need to tackle the scourge of terrorism.
Long-standing friendly relationship of India with Armenia and Poland received a new impetus and direction after Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari's visit. While addressing the media on board, Vice President said that the talks with these countries were highly satisfactory. India signed a memorandum of understanding with Armenia on peaceful uses of outer space, cooperation in youth affairs and a program of cultural cooperation. With Poland, India focused on 3 particular areas of interest: clean coal mining technology, agricultural products and defense cooperation.
There were two friendly countries where we were able to regenerate interest in each other's existence and in cooperation. It is true of Armenia also, a small country, but a very, very friendly country traditionally to us. There are little things that we need to do which have been done and will continue to be done.
The Vice President also underscored the need to adopt comprehensive convention on international terrorism. He stressed that every country was facing terrorism to a lesser or greater degree.
Dimensions of the problem are understood by everyone, whether it is England, Belgium, France, Poland, Germany, or our own problems, or Indonesia, or Malaysia, any country. Terrorism has become like a pandemic. It is affecting every society.
Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari was on a 5-day visit to Armenia and Poland from 24th of April. He was accompanied by his wife Salma Ansari, Minister of State for Small, Medium and Micro Industries Giriraj Singh, MPs Sitaram Yechuri, DP Tripathi, Vivek Tankha and Thupstan Chuang.
Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari exuded confidence that high-level political contact and vibrant economic engagement will further strengthen India's relationship with Armenia. He also enunciated that as Polish companies look for opportunities and markets outside Europe, India is a natural destination. With camera persons Sanjay and Anirban and with inputs from Amrita Rai, on board from Warsaw to New Delhi, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Now, as the annual ASEAN summit kicked off in Manila on Saturday, North Korea test-fired a ballistic missile despite rising tensions in the region. US President Donald Trump condemned the test, saying that Pyongyang had disrespected China in conducting it. Tensions now have been high in the region after the deployment of the THAAD anti-missile system near Seoul by South Korea and the US. North Korea calls the deployment an act of aggression, while the US hopes it will act as a deterrent.
South Korea's military has said that North Korea test-fired a ballistic missile on Saturday from a region north of its capital, Pyongyang, even though the test appeared to have failed. The launch has been condemned by South Korea, the US and Japan.
米国の対応について答えることは差し控えたいというふうに思います。ただいずれにしろ日米間で緊密な意見交換を行い 政策のすり合わせは行ってきているところであります。
북한 정권이 이처럼 전 세계를 상대로 불장난을 지속하면서 비핵화를 거부하는 한 유엔 안보리 등 다양한 차원의 강력한 징벌적 조치에 직면하게 될 것임을 엄중히 경고한다.
Soon after the launch, US President Donald Trump said North Korea disrespected the wishes of China and its president by conducting the launch. Even though the test failed, it is likely to only raise the existing tensions in the Korean peninsula. A UN Security Council meeting on the issue called on the international community to work together to reopen dialogue to avoid risks of misjudgment.
We need to avoid miscalculation and misunderstanding. We need to act now to prevent conflict and achieve sustainable peace.
The U.S. and China have held very productive exchanges on this issue, and we look forward to further actions that build on what China has already done.
In order to change such strategic calculus of Pyongyang and induce changes from within, we could take potent measures such as halting the export and supply of crude oil to North Korea, completely cutting off North Korea's hard currency earnings by, for instance, suspending all imports of coal from North Korea, and seriously considering whether North Korea, a serial offender, is qualified as a member of the United Nations, as well as downgrading diplomatic relations with North Korea. Let me be clear. Our goal is not bring North Korea to its knees, but to bring it back to the negotiating table for genuine denuclearization.
However, Russia and China cautioned the US against threatening military force to curb North Korea. Russia says the use of force would be completely unacceptable, even as China reiterated the need for dialogue to resolve the escalating crisis.
Воинственная риторика, сопряженная с опрометчивой игрой мускулами,
привела к тому, что во всем мире всерьез стали гадать, будет война или нет. Как известно, в условиях такой напряженности один необдуманный либо неверный истолкованный шаг.
第二个基本方向是坚持对话谈判解决的道路，武力解决不了问题，反而会造成更大的灾难。对话谈判是唯一的出路，也是各方的明智的选择。
On Friday, US President Donald Trump had said that a major conflict with North Korea was possible over its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. Tension in the Korean peninsula escalated earlier this week when the US and South Korea deployed the THAAD anti-missile system south of Seoul. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are more international news updates in Global Buzz. A strong earthquake measuring 7.2 struck off the coast of Mindanao Island on the Philippines on Saturday. The state seismology agency advised people to stay away from coastal areas but expected no major damage. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has warned that big waves could reach up to Indonesia. Pope Francis has pleaded for peace during a visit to Egypt as he attended a service in solidarity with the embattled Coptic minority at a church bombed by the Islamic State group. Pope Francis said that peace alone is holy and no act of violence can be perpetrated in the name of God. 3 weeks after the Islamic State militants killed at least 45 people in attacks on 2 Egyptian churches, Pope Francis had used his trip to launch a strong appeal for religious freedom and to accuse extremists of distorting the nature of God. Clashes broke out in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil when police fired tear gas in efforts to clear roadways blocked by burning barricades. Some masked rioters broke into banks and shops. They set 8 buses on fire and destroyed store windows. The protest is against President Michel Temer's controversial labor and pension reform bills, which have passed through the House of Representatives and will be put to a vote in the Senate in a week. In a bid to ease international isolation, Palestine's Islamic fundamentalist organization Hamas has decided to unveil a new version of its founding charter. Hamas's leadership will publish a supplementary charter in Qatar on Monday that will formally accept the idea of a state in the territories occupied by Israel in the Six-Day War of 1967. However, the original 1988 charter that called for the destruction of Israel will not be dropped, and there will be no recognition of Israel in the new charter. All right, let's change tracks now. Get you some sports news. And India's challenge in the Badminton Asia Championships ended on Friday as shuttler PV Sindhu bowed out in the quarterfinals. World number 3 Sindhu went down fighting to Hibing Jiao of China in 3 games in a match that lasted more than an hour. Sindhu started strongly, winning the first game, but the 8th-seeded Chinese staged a comeback to win the second. The third game went to the wire, but the Chinese prevailed eventually to win 15-21, 21-14, 24-22. And finally, we're leaving you with visuals of millions of flowers that are in peak bloom at the 34th Annual Tulip Festival in the US. Located about 70 miles north of Seattle, the river estuary is covered in fields of flowers, mostly Dutch tulips, daffodils and iris, which draws nearly 1 million tourists during the month-long celebration in April. We're leaving you with this.